Alright, finishing up our final bit on this engine. So, like, I'm sure y'all are like, but wait, I thought you're going to do the inside. Well, now, hold on. I was more focused on the inner workings. The inner workings are the complex part. An example of that was the head right here. You saw how fast I created that. It's not that complicated. I wanted to show you the in-depth part, which deals with a lot of moving positions and things like that. We have our valves right here, which you can already see them that they open. And I mean, yeah, there are several things that we could do to these, but it's not really required. And so my primary purpose was just to really give you guys an overview, like how tight the inner workings of an engine are, how to do some modifications, how to make them look better. By all means, like, could we actually set this up and make it into a real working engine? Absolutely. But here's a good example. So these are the exhaust valves, these are the intake valves. If we wanted to really go all out on this, I'm going to show you this real quickly. Then it'll be for you guys to really, really start hammering down on the rest. I'm going to make a cube. I'm going to bring the cube in. I don't know where the cube's at in the 3D world. So, what I want to do is I actually want to scale this cube down like so. Scale it up. Move it right in here. And I will need my X-ray mode. I'm going to bring it down. Bring it in. I need to line it up with this valve. Something like that, I think. And so then I need to press 2 on the keyboard. Bring this up. Bring this up just a little bit, not much. In fact, I also need to bring this down, like so. And so then I'm going to press 4. I'm going to duplicate it, move it across here. So right now you're like, okay, I'm following. Or you're like, okay, let me see what you're doing first, and then I'll think about doing it. I would recommend doing this right now. I'm like that, where I'm like, let me see what you're doing first before I decide if I want to do that. If you're the kind of guy that wants this to be like a real working engine and you're wanting to do this, I highly recommend this step. Because right now we're creating the ports for the exhaust. There we go. And then we will need to take, not the valve, we'll need to take all of these. And we're actually going to do I'm just going to do, I'm going to go ahead and do a join. And duplicate them. This will make sense here in just a second. For the cube, we're going to go to modifier. Now, if you do this, you're going to have to cut some faces to put this into your game. If you're not worried about that, then or if you don't want to do that, then is what I'd recommend is just go ahead and export what you have and build the rest of the engine up. Not too terribly hard. So right now is what we want to do is we actually want to what's this called? A Boolean. And we're actually going to do a difference. So we're going to select our cube. And if I hide this, let me hide this as well, you now have your ports. So these will be your exhaust ports. You can do the same thing with the valves, but once again, I'd highly recommend against it, because right now, if we press, well, you can't see it. If we go and hit apply, well, now when we press 3, we have all these extra edges. And we need to make sure that if this is for a game engine, we'd have to actually go into our cut tool, select that, and select this. So now this is 1 edge, 2 edge, 3 edge, 4 edge, which is 4 edges for one face. That's a quad. Right here, you think, okay, I can just do this, because this is now 1 edge, and this is 1 edge. No. This is actually multiple edges, so you have to do this, and that would be 4 edges. Hey, figure. Well, this right here is 1 edge. This is 2 edge, 3 edge, 4 edge. And so right here we have 1 edge, 2 edge, 3 edge. And then right here you could come across here. And if you're going to do something like this, you'd want to come up and split this off just so it's easier to work with. There we go. And the only purpose on doing this is it makes it a lot easier to work with. So you could literally come here, click on this edge, and come to this point. But essentially, like, this is what you'd have to do to export it into a game engine and have the mesh look correct on this. And then on top of that, texturing would be rather difficult too. But yeah, you could totally do this. I wouldn't recommend it, but I do encourage it, if that makes any sense. So for your valves, you can do the same thing. You can duplicate your valves, get rid of the animation keyframes, and do booleans on those too. In fact, I'm actually going to show you what that would look like. So I'm going to select all of these valves, and with these valves selected, I am actually going to duplicate them. Did they duplicate? No, they did not. I'm going to duplicate them. There we go. And I'm going to select all of these keyframes. I'm going to actually delete the keyframes. I want to make sure Z is zeroed, and it is. I'm going to go to Object. We're going to go to Join. That's what it's called. I keep thinking Merge. I'm still used to Maya. But then I'm going to click on this head, and I'm going to go to another Boolean modifier. I'm going to click on this. First thing I'm going to do is actually save it. Right. So I can click on that one. That should be fine. What is this one called? Cone 20. Cone 20. So I'm going to select this. Make sure that says Cone 20, and it does not. What about this one? That one does not say Cone 20. Can I come up here? Yes, I can. No, I cannot. It will not let me. Okay, you know what? Cone 20, here I come. Cone 20. So now, if we take our head, we should be able to move it this way. Let me go ahead and hit apply on this real quick. Move it this way. And there are our valve ports. Now, this hole down here is actually going to be larger than what you're seeing right here. And there's actually like a little inset right here as well, or a partial inset. So now the thing that we have is whenever the valve's open, come on, you can actually see right there where the air can actually escape. And there's a spot for the valves to inset. If you want to go through that, you can, but just keep in mind you're really going to be racking up the faces, especially when you have to go and clean up the geometry. Thinking about it, I'm actually going to do that to this engine. I'm actually going to finish up on the heads and make it look just a little bit better. You can do it if you want. I'm actually going to do this on the side, but in the next lesson, or actually in this lesson, because I can. Well, Cone 20 we don't even need anymore, so I can go ahead and delete it. There we go. And we still have all of our valves. Beautiful. Let's see. Cube. So what I want to do is I actually want to invert this. I'm going to do this real quick. So right here on the scale, I'm going to say -1. I'm actually going to move that over here. Right about there. So the intake is much different from the exhaust. The exhaust doesn't need much flow. It just needs to push air out. The intake, however, needs large ports so that way it can suck in as much air as possible. You might think that may not make much sense, but hey, that's the way it is in the car world. Sure. We're actually going to take these. We're going to go into phase first. And I'm actually going to select all of these faces. Actually, something I think would look even better. But I can't do it as individual components. So I'm just going to... let's see. Median point. You know, every time I think, okay, I'm just going to do the most basic thing just to give you guys an idea, I end up like talking myself out of it, like I'm doing right now, because I'm just like, you know, that's actually really, really cool looking. So I'm going to do it. And then y'all are probably like, yeah, I thought so. And y'all are justifiably right to say so. So I'm not making this exact. I should really be spending more time on this, but I mean, this is one of those really small details that no one is ever going to see. It's just there. It's accurate. Oh yes, it is accurate, but it's still a small detail. So let's go back to Booleans, and we are going to select this cube. We're going to get out of X-ray. We're going to select this cube, and we're going to hit apply. Now get rid of that cube, and then the next thing we're going to do is select all of my valves. Yeah, they all look like they're flat. Okay. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to duplicate first. Then I'm going to come down here, delete keyframes, object, join, and we will add modifier. This is going to be a Boolean. Because the cone was 20, I'm sure this one will be 23. So we will hit apply. Oh, that's cube 23. I need cone 23. Oh yeah, you can definitely see them. You can see that beautiful inset right there. Gorgeous. So normally that these would actually have a slightly larger port, but you know, it's whatever. It still represents the idea of what we're looking for, and that's ports and things like that. Something, I don't know. So I'm actually going to cut the tutorial right here. I know it's a short video, but I guess in the next one we'll go ahead and make the block and all that stuff and get this engine finished up where you can at least see everything working together in unison. So until then, I guess I'll see y'all. Oh wait, actually, spark plugs. Most of these engines actually have spark plugs right here in the center, and they sit in between the valves right here. As I told you earlier, that these actually normally have like an offset. That's what the little offset's for, that little indention, that cup-shaped indention. That's for the spark plug to sit. Not all of them have that, or like the indentions will look different, shall I say. But generally, like the tip of the spark plug will sit right here in the center, or it'll sit off to the side. Well, most of them will sit off to the side. So the one that sits in the center, those are HEMIs, which stand for hemispherical combustion. And they sound so mean when they rev up. But yeah, so anyways, getting off point. We'll stop the video right here, and on the next tutorial we're going to go a little bit more in depth into, I guess I'm going to go ahead and make the block, and I'm going to show you how to actually set the block up to be exported into a video game. You'll have to apply those concepts into fixing up the head, but I will see you there.